Oh, Sherry, did you want to come show them a
Oh,
little
I
bit?
can.
Okay,
If
great.
you'd like to see it.
Would you guys like to see Sherry use of it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great, great.
Just a quick visual.
Elements of time is, we have round 1 of 3 done. Okay, we have 3 rounds planned on this thing. It literally needs to be to a business tool level where it could track all this stuff. So here's another thing that you guys are interested in, and potentially in the MMJ industry. They're thinking about implementing RFID tag solutions, okay? So an RFID tag is a radio frequency. It basically says you have to create a net, okay? And then it creates its own little ambiance, and then any of the tags will resonate because it can actually read off of those radio frequencies and says, hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Well, what we want to do is if you're tracking RFID tag stuff, it basically is an element of time, okay? It might be associated with inventory tracking, but you might want to be like, well, where were all my stuff at this time? Where were all my stuff at this time? It kind of comes down to an element of time. And so we are going to tie it right into a sub-function of elements of time as far as your RFID tracking, okay? So, oh yeah, look at that. Nice, Sherry-O. Sweet.
This is just an example of, I pulled April 1st, 2012 through June 30th, 2012. As you will see, what the staff has done, the management has done at the OPC, which is the grow, the greenhouse. He's went in and he's added whom is going to be where and what they're going to do and what their time frames are. You will also see in here where I have put payroll dates. I put payroll taxes. I put them on the date that they're due. I'm one of these that when I want someone to pay attention, I write in a red pen. So when I do my entry on the calendars for the management and or the owners, I generally will use red. That means to pay attention. This is something that pertains to you or your company. So they quit using the reds. But I would put payroll taxes. In turn, once I calculated payroll, I would then go in and put the total amount. So they mentally knew what they were looking for as an expense. It was just something additional I did as me trying to get the office manager into a routine of, one, knowing the due dates of payroll, payroll taxes, quarterlies, things like that, the monetary involved with it. So I would enter a few additional things for them. So there's an example of payroll and payroll taxes. I was looking for April 30th. Maybe I did. Let's go look at June to see. And you'll see throughout, like on the...
So you can see that she expanded her size of her cells, okay? So
I did.
That's great. That's great.
I did. And I'm trying to see any additional things I may have put on their payroll. Payroll taxes, sales tax monthly, May 2012. I would let them know when they're due and what the amounts were. That's their sales tax. And down here, I would also enter when their state taxes are due. Of course, they're due at the 15th of the following month, but I'd put it at the end of the month for them. And then as you see, I'd put end of second quarter, and I'd put the months because sometimes they don't really pay attention, nor do they kind of care. That's why they put people in place, because they don't want to worry about the small stuff. They just want to make sure it's calculated, it's paid, and done.
Yeah, and you don't pay one of those, and that small thing becomes a big thing.
Right. And they're looking at me like, well, Sherry, and I'm like, no. This is something I do every quarter, and this is, FUTA. Same thing, I would put notations on the elements of time.
So watch this. You can see how there's tons of events. Sherry-O, can you filter this to just the red events? So watch this. She'll scroll up to the top. And that I know that go to meetings.
It's all right.
So she'll go show height search criteria, and she'll come down here and she'll find the color. It says color code right there. And she'll say, just give me the red ones. hit search.
And it's funny because I've kind of finally gotten them molded. Red means pay attention. So when they mark something on an expense for me, it's written in red and pay attention. This is where they were putting people's times. And I told them that's all well and good. I don't mind at all. Oh, no, we won't do that. And I just kind of giggled because I've worked in an office for many years and pay attention. If it's red, it's in your face.
Can you make the lettering bold? Or is it just?
You can't control it to that level.
Yeah, you can't control it to that level.
That would be an API type setting. Because guess what? The data is all there. The search capacity is all there. How do you want it to look? That's skinning your engine, okay? Our whole process is we're heading towards that API. Like, oh, we got to get there. Like, because that is going to open up huge capacity to it. So that's really fun. But
So this is kind of something I've done. My dates are always in my head, but once again, when you're working with an employer or an owner, even Steve and David, they entrusted in me to take care of business. David would come in and sign the quarterlies. I wouldn't bother Steve too much, but David's looking at me like a deer with headlights in his eyes, and I'd make him sit there and listen. And I would go over the wages for the quarter and show him we owe no money because I calculated the payroll correctly every pay period. I have one owner that I deal with right now that you have to turn him upside down, shake him for his expense receipts. You have to slap him to make him pay attention. I try to involve him in quarterly reports, quarterly calculations and things like that. He gets sidetracked at the drop of a hat. And I'll sit there until he pays attention. And it's because I'm trying to gear him as an owner, pay attention. This is your money. And I hear you, well, I need money for this and I want to go buy this and I've got plans for that. Well, pay attention. Because behind the scenes, you think you're making this, but you have 25% more out in expenses than you do in your revenue. And you have the audacity to come and ask me why. So I try to mold them. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah. And
that's the ingredient of being an owner.
It's the nature of the beast being an owner.
Ending. Really, your pocket's only as big as
Right.
your hand,
Right. I learned real quick with Steve Birkencotter because he'd say, well, Sherry, how's my Texas banks doing? Well, they're doing dandy. I learned real quick never to give him a monetary figure because the last time I did, he brought home an airplane.
Hey, Sherry.
So I've learned real quick. I force it upon them, like the one I'm working with. He can't stand it. He's a young man. He's younger than I am, but he's a young man. And I'll sit there until he pays attention. And I said, I know you could really care less, but you own this company. And it's my job for you to see what's in front of you. And if I explain it to you, I know I've done it. I don't care if you remember it tomorrow or next week. But as I mold you and do this every quarter, pretty soon you're going to be going, oh, Sherry's going to be coming by. And a 941, those are quarterlies. Now, why do we pay those taxes? Well, those are your payroll taxes. Oh, we pay those? I'm like, oh, yeah, you do.
And I believe that every owner should know exactly it's your baby, you wanted to start it. Well,
They want to
you
know
have to
what's
feed it
coming
and
in,
clothe
but
it
they
and-
need to know what's going out. They need the deadline dates. The deadline dates, the one young woman I work with, bless her little heart, she crosses her T's and dots her I's. She's extremely organized. What's SUDA? I said, well, that's your state unemployment tax. When do we pay that? So I try to get with her, and now she's getting on the game of, oh, we got that coming. Well, yeah. Or when I'm taking down reports, she knows what's coming. They need to know. And it's not necessarily my job to push it upon them, but I've learned it helps, even in incoming calls with clients for Adilas. And we're talking over payroll and payroll taxes and quarterly reports and short little things that I've learned that I can pass on to them. Sometimes they didn't know, and I'm like, right on. I helped Betty down the road, or I paid it forward. I shared what I've learned over the years and taught them so. Sometimes. Sometimes I'll go incognito.
We claim this young lady. Sorry, you can't have her. We claim her for, she's part of the Adilas.biz. But we
But
love
these are the
Sherry.
little things that I do. And it's, my own personal elements of time, you guys would roar. But just because I'm a nerd, and sometimes my calendar's full, and I don't get to do everything that's on my calendar, kind of like Brandon, as being our little magic magician that has created our little monster here. His plate gets full, and we from time to time shift and pay it forward to each other and help each other lighten our load so our calendar ain't so full. So
Here's one of the cool things about Adilas. We came up with some ideas and concepts, but I'll guarantee you if you were to look inside of Adilas, 50% of what we actually have is ideas from different people. So what we've actually been able to do is harvest other ideas. We didn't come up with all of these things. The Flex Grid, there's 2 companies that had major needs that needed this, and they're like, please, can you do something? That's a good idea. What if we do this too? You know, like we kind of added an Adilas spin to it, but we didn't come up with the Flex Grid. We spent all afternoon kind of talking about the Flex Grid. Elements of Time, another company was kind of like, man, it would be really cool if we could actually do this and this and this. And we're like, you know what, we were thinking about that as well. What if we did this? And like kind of came up with, like, there's probably 50% of Adilas is actually people's ideas. Recipe and Builds, I can tell you the company that we were working with who was like, oh my goodness, I've got to have some sort of a kitting type package, okay? Great, okay? Et cetera, et cetera. Yes.
Obviously, I walked in late, but is there something that shows what the colors mean?
Okay.
Is there a legend someplace?
Okay, that's internal to your company. Okay?
Right, but is there some place when I'm first starting that I can put it up? I mean, is there some
the
place that
request that we
shows?
had was under the master time templates, okay? This was a request that we had last training. We have not been able to implement it yet. But Sherio, could you go to the quick tippy top of your page? I'll show you where we were thinking of putting in this legend, okay? And click on the View, Edit, Master Time Templates. Step slightly from your mouse. It's the bottommost link.
sure.
So here's all the different templates that she has. These are different cookie cutters, okay? That's great. Like, look at that. She basically came in and said, this is the different kind of ways I want to use time.
Did you
Sherio,
get that
that's
they
awesome,
want
awesome,
them
awesome.
to water that day?
How funny, how
So
funny.
you can put a color to that?
So each one technically has a color. So go click on sales tax for just a second.
No, you're going to find it red.
Okay, no problem. But just so you can know, like basically if you scroll down, you get to set a default color. So all we need to do is basically just cascade one more, boom, default color red. Okay? However, in order to be to this page, this is at an admin level. You're setting up the cookie cutters, not the actual physical cookies, because you're going to make thousands of them potentially. This is making a cookie cutter. So what we would probably do is actually just make that, and then if you need to be like, hey, do you want to see what my default colors are? Here's where my defaults are. And some people may even change things. Maybe it starts at black, and as it gets hotter and hotter, maybe it changes colors. Like as they're doing progress on a specific job or whatever, like we have no clue. So we currently do not have a legend for the colors, but internal to the system, it may mean something specific. So
I'd love it right above the calendar, because otherwise I'm going to be writing it on a piece of paper and sticking it up on the board until I first remember what it is. Because you know, you do a color, and then you go, what color did I make it? So
Yeah,
it'd be nice if there was something I could just have a little block there that I could say, you know, this is for taxes, this is for this, this is.
It would seem to me like you could pick up the title of what that color means and the color and have the legend right across there, and you know exactly, and that every company, as dynamic as you are, have their own legend and have their own.
Grant,
We can't have that as a piece of static in your world.
I know our world is so dynamic and it keeps changing. And like this is crazy. Okay, you see how Sherio has 23 different master time templates out there, each one with different settings and different naming, so she can categorize what the different things are. We provide these tools, And some people are like, oh my goodness, that's way too much. And other people are like, oh, is there any way I can do this and this and this and this and this? Like, it's almost a two-edged sword. It's like, do you simplify it, or do you keep adding more, or do you have to add more so that you can simplify it? So that's where we're kind of trying to head. But I do agree, we do have to add some legends in there. So I just heard Shannon typing, so I bet you she was taking
And
down
like
a
when
note.
we did
I
the
have a question for you.
and we did the
Yes,
30
ma'am.
days, the 30 days, and then once it gets past the 30 days, it goes into 60 days, and it does, it highlights an invoice in red or a different color that, you know, this is getting past, it's getting past due, and it changes that color.
That would be great. Like, there are tons of ideas, and guess what we do? We have people, we harvest ideas, So the next thing you know, all of a sudden, they're, whoa, cool, they implemented a color system. And so, like, that's what we do. We try to harvest people's ideas, okay? We didn't create all of these ideas ourselves.
Okay.
Huge credit to those people.
Keep going in. Sherry, we have a question from a lady online. She's wondering if you are manually entering your payroll numbers or if you're dynamically feeding them from somewhere else in the system.
No, it's a manual entry.
So she's talking a manual entry onto her calendar.
Onto my elements of time.
She's basically doing tons and tons of payroll type stuff.
Right.
Pulling a
Right.
report and saying, looks like you owe
Right.
$5,000 or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
She was just asking if you could dynamically
And you
pull
get
it.
that number from, it makes that number
Correct,
for you.
correct.
Oh,
And
yes.
You're just taking it and saying, this is what it says, this is what you need to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And they have two locations, so I would break it down by location. I did it as a nice quick visual for the owners.
Yes.
So they're not having to go to the expense homepage or search the vendor of the IRS and look for that amount.
Well, that's confusing.
I email them and things like that, but I just, it's something that I do for them.
Awesome.
Something little that I do.
Great. What I wanted to show you is, one, Elements of Time is one of the system players. It's fairly new in the realm of system players, okay? And we're not even done with it yet to take it to the level where we want it to go. But this will be a huge player. And like Shannon said, she said, even in some of our studies, like, what were some of these other companies missing? It ended up being this element of time, okay? We didn't even know what to call it because it's so dynamic. She has 23 different things she does with, how could you call that a calendar system? You know, you almost can't. So. Anyway, it's good stuff. So, awesome. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay, so got
Yes,
one other
yes,
question.
yes.
I noticed on a lot of it says no start time. So what that means you didn't have a specific time you started. You didn't actually put.
You can set a start time and an end time for certain projects that you're doing.
Yes.
You can go in and say, I'm going to mow the lawn at house A from 9 a.m. to 10, and on your calendar it will say, okay, you started 9 and you ended at 10 on that date. And you can set like a schedule for yourself.
But the ones that have no start time, it means
They just put it in.
They
and
just
didn't put a time.
sometime today I have to do this and there was no time.
Sometime today versus
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
But you can go in there and say payroll taxes need to be paid
Like
between
Shredder
noon
shows.
and 3 p.m. on the 24th of October.
Right. I didn't find it necessary to pick a start time.
Yeah.
Because I found that if I didn't have a start time, my element of time became priority on that specific day. Although I set it in red for pay attention, I realized that if I didn't have a start time, it kind of gave it its own priority.
It does. It goes into the general category. So if you're actually going, Cheryl, why don't you just click, I bet you we're still filtered by just the red ones. Why don't you go show hide search criteria and take off that red filter so we can get a bunch more data. Oh, scroll up just a little bit. And I
I'm
know
out of
that thing is in
control.
the way. It's totally in the way. Take off that red piece, say all, and say search.
I think we want a calendar view, right?
So if you want the calendar view, we're currently in time slot view. Watch this. Go see how you have next page of pages. Why
Yep.
don't you go into, like, say, page let's go to page 10. Hit go. Okay, so look at this. At the very, very top, you have the general, the no start times. Go ahead and scroll down just a little bit.
I learned that by happenstance.
And then you start getting into the physical
no
time.
start time. He
Yeah.
goes first.
And I just giggled hysterically because I'm like, haha. Not only red makes you pay attention, but I didn't put a start time, so mine comes first. Yeah.
And once again, it deals with the cookie cutter, which we call the master time template. What it does is you actually dictate, do I want a time, yes or no, or do I just want a date? And then you kind of set it up that way. Okay? So perfect, perfect. Elements of Time has, if you like to read and you want to get into it, if you read the help files for Elements of Time, you will really, really get a kick out of like what's going on and kind of some of our vision. Elements of Time is not done yet, but it's almost a precursor to things that are going to be coming as far as point-and-click interfaces and kind of build on your own. And like, imagine if, see how she created 23 different little templates? Imagine if you could do that with your invoices. Hey, I want to create an invoice, I want to call it this, and I only want it to show this and this and this, or whatever, okay? Or it needs this functionality, or this one needs this functionality. And then all of a sudden you run and play. So all of a sudden you're like, sweet, this is perfect, look, it does exactly what I want, instead of being a super generic piece, okay? What it is it's the point-and-click interface that actually builds that template so the system knows how to play accordingly.
What if you had it where there are a crew of people and they have multiple jobs and they have different times, but yet you have a start time for crew 1 and crew 2. But then as they move through the different jobs, that you could track that time through, through their day. That they hit group 1 hit job A, B, and C, and it took them from 7 to 10 on one, 11 to this, and then with their travel time in there, and it did it that way.
Okay, I love it. And what that is round 2 of Elements of Time is going to create these little pools of who's doing what. So you create this element of time, and instead of individually, like FlexGrid, kind of like individually assigning it, you create this pool, and pool 1 might be crew A, and pool 2 might be crew B, and you're like, Tom, go. And they all move over to that, and then you dictated how long they were at that time. And like, it could be very easy. That's mass movement of people, assigning them to those elements of time. Round 2 of Elements of Time already has some stuff like that planned in it. So it's called pools, and kind of like pulling from your different pieces, almost to the dispatching type level,
Yes.
if you will. Okay, so that's kind of what the plan is there. So good stuff. I see Shannon writing tons of notes. It's good stuff. So good. Awesome. So this is the time slot view. Once again, if it was too big, so you can you're looking at a week at a glance here. Okay, you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If it's too much, scroll up to the tippy top, Sherry, just for a second, and just click on one of the days, like Thursday, 6, 7. Yep, or whichever one, doesn't matter. If you click on that, what it does is it basically does a drill down. It's like, okay, cool. Let's just show you a smaller date range. She actually has some stuff that's spanning certain amounts of time, whether it's employee time clocks or whatever. Okay. So,
Jim Group.
awesome. And once it ends, you'll actually see where it ends. It kind of shows your start and ending time. So that's how we chose to kind of show the spans, if you will.
You see me pointing at that screen? There's the end time,
Perfect.
and there's your start time.
Awesome. Do you guys have any other questions for Sherry O while she's up here? Sherry O does tons of stuff. Okay, we use Sherry O inside of Adilas constantly. She'll call customers. She makes great notes, like for follow-up notes or whatever. So often we do reoccurring billing, whether it's credit cards or ACH payments or whatever like that. If something doesn't go through, David sees it because he gets the report. And because of his cochlear implant, and he doesn't really like to be on the phone, he'll contact Sherry, and Sherry O will contact the customer. Okay, like we use Adilas for Adilas. Okay, so we're constantly going to be like, this is our baby as well. So like, this isn't just a little product. We're like, hey, have fun and have fun using it. Like, we use it constantly. We do deposits. We do invoices. We pay payments.
And the note section is huge. It is. I think Brandon had to expand it because
we did actually.
there's times I become babble incoherently, And at the end, I'll say, did you
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
that?
yeah.
We've seen some of the notes and how one note took almost a whole page.
Yep.
Well, hopefully it wasn't mine.
You know what? It tells a story, though. It
In
really
this
does. Okay, that data becomes searchable. It helps tell the story. Like it might be like, oh my goodness, how long does that take? Well, it depends on how centralize the data, and then you can search it, and how you want to pull it back out. We can totally deal there. That's not a problem.
Can
So,
you take an audio and put it into the notes?
okay.
If someone had an audio recorder and you know how people talk and they want to record a meeting
Mhm.
and they record the meeting and there's multiple people talking just like this and they're recording it.
Mhm.
And then they're like, okay, well, now on my job, I have to record those notes. Instead of going and listening and typing those in, could they put it into their computer and have that audio go onto the note?
Okay, that's the exact same thing you asked about. Can I shoot a video of the construction?
Yes, and
Basically, it is the bucket number 9 called other content,
that's
video, audio, Excel, Word, PDF,
okay.
anything.
I
What-
cannot wait for that bucket. That's
that
my
bucket will
list.
be awesome. Okay, that will be super, super awesome. So, and basically what we're doing right now is there's already some companies that have even paid a little bit of money to kind of help us in the development process of this. We're recruiting others. If people are like, oh my goodness, please, let us do that, let us do that. Like, Adilas ends up winning in the end, but sometimes we need help funding some of these projects just because it's like, you know, how are we going to get this? Our whole goal, we're going to be using elements of time to kind of go like this. Hey, just so you guys know, here's what's on our tip list. Here's some potential projects. Anybody want to play? And if you don't, guess what? We'll just keep slowly cranking through them all by ourselves. If you do want to play, let's escalate those things, okay? So like, that's the way we're planning on playing. We're planning on using elements of time to a huge nether level just internally, and it'll be fun. So good stuff. Awesome. Sherry, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. I really appreciated seeing that visual of 23 different master time templates and all that kind of stuff. That was great.
And it's not that I have too much time on my hands, sir.
Awesome.